sure we're a mess. Danny out there? Y'all have your mask out there?
Yes, if you'd like.
Let me look in my pocket first.
Yeah, we got some.
Yeah, we got some, I'll get it.
Just bring me one, Pam.
Anyone else?
Hey, you come to me. It's 7, we'll wait a couple minutes. We got at least one coming, and if everybody's here, but they gotta make their way in.
Sorry about
It
that.
is now.
The camera ready, camera, be ready.
It's ready to go whenever you're ready.
Can you raise it up a little, James?
Camera. It's good.
I had it spot on
Yeah.
where it was all,
Okay.
where it got everyone.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Go. Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to our meeting. Good to have everyone. We've got a few things to go over concerning business and so on, and conversation about the old ferry. So, but right now, if everyone would stand, we'll have an invitation. Father in heaven, once again, we approach your mighty throne of grace, praise you and thank you. We thank you, Lord, for your grace and your mercy. We thank you for loving us and keeping us. And we thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to serve our town and do the wishes of our people. We ask, Lord, that you watch over each person here today. Give us a good meeting. We just pray that we'll make the decisions that will benefit the town. And again, we would like to give our thoughts today to those people that's been impacted by this storm, the deaths and the devastation and so on. And we just ask everyone to think about them, consider them, and also the COVID disease, all the deaths and so on that's caused by that. And again, we thank you for the love and mercy. These things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, John, if you lead us in the closing reading.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
Sanders.
Here.
Alderman Collier. Vice Mayor Jernigan.
Here.
Alderman Haas.
Here.
Mayor Graham.
Here.
Alderman Summers. Okay.
Okay, well, quorum, we'll move on to visitors, and, as I said a minute ago, Jeannie and Linda Skelton are here, and, in the past, I guess, week, they have, really come across the old ferry that was down here at the river, and, I will let you all just tell us what's going on if you'd like to.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I need to come to the front?
Just wherever
Just-
you want.
Okay, because I don't know how many of you even know the history. But anyway, back in the 20s and the 30s, the 40s, that was the way of getting from this side to the other side of the river here in Surgoinsville. So a lot of people were familiar with the old Surgoinsville ferry. And then the bridge came along, and the ferry was put up for auction back in the 50s. So my father purchased the Surgoinsville ferry, took it down the river because he could use it. Miller Island, he was farming at the time, and so he could bring it from the shore, his implement and seeds and etc., from the shore to the island. So for a few years, it really was beneficial to the Miller family. But then came the time when he no longer needed it. He intentionally, he made that clear, intentionally sunk it up on the shore of the right side of the river going down, not on the island. So that's where it was. It was a conversation piece. We take people down on the farm and say, that's the ferry. Look at that thing, 60 feet long, 12 feet wide, you know, a real jewel. But then time passed. And I never really talked to Daddy about his intention. I just knew it was there. And then Daddy passed away, and we still talked about the Surgoinsville ferry, but I really didn't know its future. But week before last, it was brought to our attention. It was no longer there. Someone had come up the river back in the late summer and had raised, there's the word, jacked up the ferry, and it was a 2-8-day ordeal, very, very involved. Pontoons, all kinds of paraphernalia to get it a half a mile or so down the river, and then up on the bank. So Gina and I decided we needed to find out a little more about this because we just considered it our property, but then on the one hand, maybe it wasn't our property. Somebody could just come up there and raise it and take it on and start making a project out of it. So we contacted several authorities, and it came down to just calling the man who did this, who owns the campground down there, and he was so congenial. Assuming he was telling us the truth, he said, I just thought it was a big piece of metal that was out there in that river that boaters were going to hit one of these days, and I just thought it was up for the grabs. And so it took us, 4 or 6 men, and we took it down the river, and I have a plan in place. So we talked and talked and talked, and I thought, but really, down deep, I think it needs to go back to Surgoinsville. I mean, that's where it was born, that's where it was used, that's where it needs to end up. But I don't have a leg to stand on because here it is. And so I've talked with some from the historical standpoint in the museum. I've talked to your mayor, and we're just neutral. We want what's best for those who have an interest. If there's no interest, fine, we'll just go on about our merry little business. But if there is an interest, we want to cooperate with you as the family who did purchase it once upon a time and did now follow through and determine it needs a home if it's worth saving. And you all are the folks that we want to make the first move. So I'll entertain any questions, but I feel like that's just an overview. We were totally shocked to know we had a new home. And now we're ready to cooperate with you, Mayor, in any way we can.
Thank you. You know, the ferry is something that's talked about a lot. And Surgoinsville really treasures, you know, the things that were important here, the blacksmith shop and the ferry and other things, in the rock house out here. There's a lot of things that was Surgoinsville's that means a lot to people and maybe more to the people that can remember it. I rode the ferry one time, and I told Linda that. I can remember getting on it with Harlow, us just kids, and I made the remark, well, when's this thing gonna move? And somebody said, are you kidding? We're halfway across the river. But it moves slow, best I can remember. But anyway, it is a piece of history, and I asked Johnny, and Johnny, I'm glad you came, and it's historical, and I do think, you know, whatever can be done or needs to be done to bring that to Surgoinsville, I think we need to put all of our energy to trying to do that. And I talked with Joe just a little while ago about that, and I don't know, I really don't know where to start, but Joe made a couple suggestions, and John asked Johnny to come. And so, you know, we need to get started somewhere. And I told Linda, I said, what it probably is going to take is some grant money, probably. I don't know what it would take to get it here. I have no idea. But I think, number one, we need to get it here. And Linda is graciously said they want it here. And they want it to be part of our town, as I understand it, and displayed. And, of course, we could display it, you know, on ground, or maybe even more elaborate and maybe put it back in the water, I don't know. But what's left of it is more or less the frame. The wood's more or less gone off of it. But anyway, I think it's something that I'd like to see restored. I would, because it is an important part of our history, I think. And so anyway, we'll be contacting, and Johnny, if there's anybody you know of that we need to contact or whatever. And what I'm hoping, I told them that there may be an organization that'll say, you know, we're waiting on a big project like that. That'd be great for the town, or the state even, to have that down here and displayed, I think. I mean, you never know. There may be some money out there. You know, to do it right, I think it takes some money. It takes a little bit of money, I think. So, but anyway, I think that, you know, we need to make all the contacts, whatever. And of course, probably the starting place will be with TVA, I'd say. And you never know, they may be interested in help with the financial part of it or something. But I do think that's the way we should go from here. And Joe, we were talking, and you mentioned some organization, I can't remember what you said.
Well, there's probably several that might have an interest. Appalachian Regional Commission has funded a number of historical projects across the state from time to time. There are a number of entities, but of course, in this particular day and time, grant funds may be hard to come by. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to look.
Start looking, that's exactly right. Johnny, have you got any?
Well, yeah, I want to say a few things. You know, we worked on this back a few years ago when I was mayor. Bobby, I think, we went down there and surveyed it and talked to Mr. Miller at the time. And I think Sid Lawson was down there looking at it at the same time. And we made some plans, and I guess we picked our battles back then. We were just getting involved in the sewer project and two or three other things. And you know how I remember how time consuming it was. It was overwhelming. So I guess we sort of dropped the ball, but I am all for getting that thing up here. I don't know why we couldn't haul it up here on a low boy trailer like they haul road grader on or a piece of heavy equipment, I'm sure you could load it on there
Yeah.
and haul it up here. They hauled it from somewhere to here, it wasn't built down there, I don't think, so.
I think they took it by water down to where they got it, didn't
Oh,
they?
yeah,
Yeah.
but,
Now, where that would have to come out is Richards Road, I think, right?
unlike Joe's thinking, I think there's gonna be lots of money available to do things like that. I think we'll be able to finish our sewer project if we apply ourselves and already have a plan in place.
Oh, absolutely.
And, so, I think, we should try and make every effort to get it and use it at the park down here. Anything we can do to get people to come to this town for a few minutes and look around will help the town.
Oh, I agree.
And it helps businesses, it's good for us, and, we have a, archives and museum, and we're a 501(c) now, so, we can apply for grants. But I think the agency over there could show the way better than anybody, but there's a lot of money out there right now for museums and things of this nature. And that could be, just because it's not at the same location, don't mean it can't be part of it.
Right.
But, it would I always thought it'd make a wonderful place to park it in place and moor it, tie it down, and restore it, and be able to cover over it, and use it for picnic tables, set on, it would probably hold 6 or 8 picnic tables comfortably, without a roof on, make a great pavilion, and a historical spot. There's a lot of things you could do to make it attractive. And of course, it don't have to be water, it don't ever have to be put back in the water, we don't need to worry about that. I think the liability would be tremendous.
Yeah,
To do
well,
that.
it would be nice to put
It
it
would be
back in
great,
the
oh yeah,
water,
I totally agree.
back on the
Right.
cables, even if you didn't put it.
And maybe we can do that too,
Yeah.
I think, but,
But you're talking probably opposed to putting it on land. Water would be an expensive ordeal, but, you know, like I said, I really think there could be some organization with money that would love the idea. And, you know, so we just need to get into it.
but I think there's gonna be a lot of grant money available soon, and I think that, we need to get Ken from the agency over here, get them, start planning some of the things that's coming up. There's gonna be money to build roads, there's gonna be money to build bridges, water systems, and sewer systems.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's gonna be some money. They are gonna be some money coming on there.
And I'll help all I can.
Well, I know you will. Anybody got any comments or any questions about the ferry? And I would like to mention, you know, on our bicentennial T-shirts, we had a picture of the ferry.
There you go.
I think people loved it. They loved that idea. And it was nice to have that. Anyway, we'll cross our fingers, and we'll be contacting anybody and everybody that we can, to see what we can get going.
Because I pretty much promised the gentleman on whose property it now stands.
Well, you know, you're right, that is
In
an
all
issue we've got.
fairness, I've got to keep communication open.
Now that he's gonna park it, I'd say he's probably not gonna wait a year or two, he's probably gonna move, I'd say, so that's an issue, you know, that.
I think that would be a pretty affordable thing. I don't have any money for it myself, but I don't think it'd take a lot of dollars just to get it relocated.
Well, you know, there's people that does that.
Well,
things
yeah,
like that.
that's right.
That could do that, yeah.
But I would hope as many of you who can to actually go and see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's
It'd be a
totally,
fun trip, sure will.
yes, that's totally
Right,
appropriate.
right.
Because we're talking one thing, but seeing it's another thing.
Yeah.
I believe it's 40 feet
No,
long.
60,
6 feet long.
60 by 12.
Yeah, yeah.
is that comparable to a mobile home?
That's,
So
that's
it had to
the
be,
same
it
size.
had to be put on, that's how they got it out the river, put it on a frame that matched up to a mobile home. They had to roll it out.
Mobile home wheel,
They could, yeah, they couldn't lift 10,000 pounds, so they had to roll it out.
Well, you know, that'd be somebody's contact, maybe.
Yeah, all things are running together, I mean.
Once you get into that, you know, some of your larger corporations, you know, like Eastern, may, you know, may very well feel like that's of interest to them and maybe help, you know, you never know, I mean, we can certainly find out and then just kicking it off tonight and getting it stirred up, you know, we may get some responses. So,
Sure.
I think that anybody, whether you were living or even know there was a ferry, I think would be interested in having it back here. I do, and this way, I really do. So, but we'll start, we'll get right on it and start calling and then, I don't know who we need to contact or what the steps we need to do to maybe go ahead and try to get it up here, you know, to get it, you know, take it off his hands or whatever, but, you know, maybe we need to see how long and how, you know, how patient he'll be, you know what I mean? So, I mean, now that, and this is all, you know, you know, it's all up to, you know, what you all wanna do and we'll try to, I'm sure you'd like to get it away from him and up here for him as soon as we can.
If it's coming here.
Does it still have the sides on it, the boat part of it, supposed to, so to speak, or is it just all angle iron?
And I was talking to Gene and Orville maybe about if it's possible to take it apart, since the only thing there is the frame, and moving it apart and then putting it back together.
Absolutely, we can do that.
So maybe we could do that. And I think, you know, somewhere along the line, somebody needs to go look at it that maybe would know how to move
That's
it and
number
what to do.
one.
Yeah, that's number.
Get you an engineer down there. It's,
So we'll get to work on that and, anybody has any comments or questions, the floor is open. Well, again, we'll get right on it and start making our phone calls and talking to
Thank
people.
you.
And of course, we'll keep in touch with you and see, you know, what we need to do. But I really do appreciate your interest and rescuing it, rescue you, really. Yeah, he was gonna make a boat ramp out of it, I think, so, yeah. So,
has big plans, so.
yeah, it's important, it's an important piece of history, I think, for the town, and we definitely would like to have it.
Cause like the man said, I've done the hard work now. You find folks, you're your next step now. And it truly is.
I'll tell you, I wanna brag on Linda G, their display, the one that they did at our museum is really just outstanding. If you've not been to the museum, you need to go look and see what we got up there, so you can brag on it a little bit.
Well, you know, mentioning the museum, it is very
It's
nice.
real nice, y'all.
It's impressive, and I think everybody needs to go look through that museum.
And this ferry boat would help us tell our story even better.
Absolutely, yeah. It's nice. It's very nice. I was blown away when I went through it. I loved it. It was great. So, and maybe in the next little bit, we'll have something to go along with the museum, so. All right, so we'll start working on it. And
Thank you.
I thank you all.
We want to say thank you to this body. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
You have our support.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go too, I'm hungry.
Your phone number, I'm with the Rogersville Review, I would love to talk to you later.
Good, we love it.
If you could just write my phone number down.
This lady, you're I'm so pleased with y'all now, what we see right now. I'm so pleased,
so glad.
I'm so pleased what you're having.
What's your name?
Linda, Lynda, and Jean, Gene. Skelton, Skelton.
All right.
And that's a 43, you know, look.
All right, I'll
Thank you
give
so
you a
much.
call
Yes,
this
ma'am.
week.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
That is.
Thank y'all.
Okay, let's get down to our reports. James, you got a?
For the month of November, 203 complaints, 6 incidents, 2 accidents, 7 offense reports, 15 citations, 1 arrest, and 2,123 miles.
You got somebody working today?
I did, I actually had 2 working today.
Who was it?
Brian Sanders and Jesse Williams.
Okay. Good.
Okay. Let's see, Bob, you got yours?
Yeah. See, for the month of November, residential garbage was 67.99 tons. The commercial was 7.92 tons. Brush was 10.2 tons. Dump trailer, 2.61 tons. The recycled, 542 pounds plastic and 756 pounds paper. We had to get a new bottle of oxygen. Don't know what it cost. It had volume on it, was 90, so I don't know if that was $90. I didn't see no price on that. At Liberty, we spent $375.54. Co-op, $93.87 for marking paint and some little jersey gloves. Lowe's, we for Christmas lights, $176.62. Paid well for Elm Street and Williams Road was $171.14. And Vulcan, we got 4.29 ton of chat, pressure run, whatever you want to call it, to fill in on Elm Street and Williams Road. Mark's Auto, $6 for nuts and bolts, quarter tires, trash truck tires, had to have them with $708.68. Animal control, 5 cats.
Was you gonna get 2 tires for the dump truck too?
We got them, but that'll be
Next
on
month.
December, yeah.
Okay.
I made a mistake on that last month. I wrote down November. I don't know if anybody caught it or not, but it was supposed to be in October.
Okay.
So I just wanted to, and I did, I guess if you want to talk about it, on the backhoe, found 1 used backhoe, and we have looked everywhere, Greenville, Johnson City, Gate City, Kingsport, and the only one I found was the Contractor's Machinery in Tri-Cities, and it's an 05 model case, 580 SM, 4-wheel drive extended hole on it. It was 38.5, and it had 6,900 hours on it.
Well,
And I've got all the spec work. He gave me everything to go with it.
well, since we can't get that on this loan here, I'm proposing that we take out another loan and maybe get a newer backhoe.
Well, the people that I've talked to, I don't know who else to go through. They have a hard time getting
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
And we looked at one at Stellar's up there. It was used, it was a rental, and I did ask about that one. He said that thing was over 100,000. So,
oh, yeah.
you know, I don't know what you all want to spend on one. I just, you know, do the best I can with it. And the hot box,
Yeah,
I looked everywhere, got on Googled it and pulled up all that stuff. Every hot box that I seen that was used was sold. I found one, it's brand new, on 2 ton. It was $16,599 and $2,150 to have it shipped here. They're good looking hot box, ready to go.
Well, a 2-ton would be fine here. I think the one the county's got probably a 4-ton.
Yeah,
But, you know, and we could pull it with a little dump truck instead of the big one.
I mean, you pull it with any pickup out there, yeah, cause it ain't that much.
Yeah. But what I'm proposing is, and we probably need to talk about this more at the next workshop, is to get another loan and get a better backhoe and even maybe get another tractor. Not fool with repairing that one, because we can spend $15,000-$20,000 on that tractor and still have an old tractor. And that, you know, that's gonna be my proposal.
Vice Mayor Jernigan, can I cut in for a moment?
Yeah.
I heard from Chance Lamb, which is the lender for USDA that we're getting a loan from. He did say that we all can purchase the equipment with your own funds after we have received a complete application and improved environmental, which I'm working on right now with him. He also said that we can close the loan and reimburse those eligible expenses once we close the loan. So basically, the town would just float the expenses for a bit and just, you know, important to note that we cannot reimburse any expense, or they cannot reimburse any expense taken on before the complete application and approved environmental. So, in other words, you know, the backhoe, the hot box, we can't purchase it right at this moment, but we can get the quotes, get those together. And if you want to go ahead and purchase it out of the general fund, it can be reimbursed.
Okay, good.
So, as long as we have the proper documentation
Well,
to do it.
that sounds even better to me.
And,
That's what we did on the other loan, isn't it, Joe? I mean,
Right, but you gotta keep in mind that you have to have the amount approved in this application. Right now, after Monday's work session, it looked like the consensus was to have the garbage truck, and that would be the amount of money for the loan.
Mhm.
If you wanted to add the backhoe and the hot box, you'd have to have some supporting documentation of what the value, the cost rather, would be of those things to include in the resolution for
Well,
tonight.
The reason why we said, you know, we're just gonna do 175 on this, we need that garbage truck bad. And we can wait on the backhoe and the hot box and, you know, all that in the spring.
No, but I was just wanted to remind the board that
Yeah. But,
Where are we in the process?
right now, we're still at the beginning of the loan application process. There's, so many documents that are required right now that they're asking for, that I'm continually working on at the moment. I'm one person 8 hours a day and doing other job duties as well, I'm trying to get everything together as soon as possible by the end of December. He said once I can get that by the end of December, that the monies could go into our fund account by mid-January.
is that the garbage truck?
Yeah, and that's I have 2 priorities, the budget, I'm sorry, 3. The budget, the audit, and getting this loan done.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been working on.
Yeah.
And also the gentleman we're buying this from has said if we're not ready with our check, that he would extend that, I think.
Right, he told Bobby he'd push it back mid-July,
January.
or shit,
January.
so. I'm so sorry,
know.
I'm so sorry, oh my
Hey,
gosh.
we want warm weather too.
Yeah, really.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I did talk
January.
to Michael, and the delivery date was gonna be in end of December. And I asked if we can push it back, and if we had to pay anything to hold. He said no, that he would push it back up to mid-January, which he also said that would help him out too, because with everything that they're going through with 6 trucks all at one time, he said that would help him out
Okay.
in the long run.
Good,
So,
good.
So we'll be talking with Chance Lamb and see.
Yeah,
what
I'm
we need
in
to do
contact
to
with
address.
him, yeah, at least 3-4 times a week, trying to get this all together and get it completed by the end of the month.
Good.
All right. So Bobby, that's everything on your report, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, the sewer, report. Tommy's got the sewer. If y'all wanna look through it, you can. We won't read all that off. Of course, Tommy's busy. He is busy with sewer calls. Oh, and I wanted to say on your, Bobby, on your report down here for Christmas light.
Yes,
Okay, now that was for lights that on our displays, so you had lights that were gone out that had to be replaced.
yeah, and lights for the gazebo, lights for the bridge. Yeah, that was lights for the bridge and gazebo and some bulbs that we ordered. They ain't even came in yet.
Okay, so they've not been changed then. But anyway, I wanted to say to you that, you and your crew put the lights up, the Christmas lights, and they really look good. I've had a bunch of comments about our Christmas display through town, and people are really happy with it.
Thank
And they
you.
look real good. Y'all done a real good job. Okay,
I make a motion to accept the reports as read.
Second.
all right, motion is Bobby and Warren, everybody in favor of accepting these reports, do something saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, see, well, I guess it is old business, maybe. We've got, well, I guess that'd be new business. Okay, a resolution, we have to pass a resolution, we may have already done this, but we need to do it, I guess we'll have to do it again, Chance Lamb needs a resolution to purchase the garbage truck. So, we need a motion second to vote to actually purchase this garbage truck that we're getting to.
The resolution number 134, to purchase the garbage truck, is a resolution that the board requested at the November meeting to fully document the process of purchasing. If you'll recall, at the November meeting, a number of questions came up with respect to the process. That resolution memorializes in the board's minutes the entire process, how it came to be, and authorizes the mayor to execute any all documents that are necessary to facilitate the purchase.
So we don't need to do this?
No, you do need to do this.
Okay.
I make a motion that we, make the purchase of the garbage truck for ever how many dollars it says.
$175,000.
No, that's the next resolution, number 135. 134 is a resolution to ratify and confirm everything that's been done toward the purchase of the garbage truck and authorize the mayor to complete the purchase documents.
So basically, this is during the audit.
Right, what it does is memorialize on the minutes of the board everything that's been done that was not memorialized.
I'll say,
Okay.
Tim seconded.
All right, we got a motion, Warren, and a second by Tina. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, all right, roll call vote.
Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Alderman Hawes,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jarnigan,
Aye.
Alderman Collier,
Aye.
Alderman Sandage, Alderman Bishop,
All right, so that's done, we'll move on to, resolution 135. Rural
That's-
development funding, well, in another one, so.
That's the resolution to approve making the application. There was some miscommunication between Pam and myself. You probably need to bump that figure up to 185 to include the issuance costs and any other miscellaneous things. You're gonna have to paint Town of Surgoinsville Public Works Department on the side of the truck. You're gonna have some miscellaneous expenses as well,
Okay,
and just include all those costs.
okay.
So I'd make it at 185.
Okay.
Well, I'll make that motion.
All right, have a motion, Bob.
I'll second.
Second by Tina. Again, roll call vote.
Vice Mayor Jarnigan, Alderman Collier, Alderman Hawes,
Aye.
Alderman Bishop, Alderman Sandage, Mayor Graham.
Yes. Okay. And now, of course, everyone knows we've received a check for $64,000.41, which has been deposited into the general fund, and we need to vote to accept that.
Yes.
So I need a motion and a second to vote to accept that. Motion by Warren,
I'll second.
second by Bob. And I think everyone in favor of approving this settlement, do so by saying aye. Okay, so that's taken care of. Okay, we need approval for FY 2021-22 for library board trustees, which we have a list of them if you wanna look that over. So the board, needs to vote to approve them. You wanna look that out?
So just a reminder, the second and final reading is including, the garbage truck and also what was talked about at the workshop, the two departments that came a little bit over budget and you all bumped up the, line item budget amount for solid waste and for street aid.
Oh, I have that list from the library or somewhere.
So what was covered, just as a reminder again, was the governor's, state grant, state local grant for $34,256 is on there. The opioid settlement, that's on there for $64,041. And you got the ARPA grant, the American Rescue Plan grant, that we got half of that, which is in the general fund right now, which you all decided at the workshop last week that we're gonna make a separate account hold on to that until you all really decide, that you all are going to pretty much go with the sewer.
Shall we decide what to put in savings? Yeah, okay, okay, so, we need to approve these board members for the library.
Which one are we working, the budget or the
We're on the
library?
library board.
Oh.
Yeah.
You've been on the budget.
I know, that's all I have on my brain right now is getting this
Yeah, we'll leave there in just.
budget taken care of.
We can talk about two things at one time.
This is something new to me, is this, do you all do this? You approve
I've never
the
seen
board?
this
of the-
before.
If you see that email from, it looks like the director of the Hawkins County Library, she said, this is a list of library board trustees for approval at your next meeting. I'm considering, that she's meeting the BMA tonight.
I would have thought the county board would have done that.
Well,
wouldn't it?
you participate in the, I think, Watauga Region, library system at this library.
Right.
And I think that's what they're talking about here, is the Board of Trustees of
It's
the
got listed as the Holston region.
Holston Region, excuse me, I misspoke.
Yeah, well, you had one other thing that just approved, board approved it.
You know, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't ever remember seeing that.
I don't have not either, but they want it approved, so we can approve it. And I know a couple of people on the board, but I don't know all, but I'm sure, they, it's all a good judgment, I'm sure, so.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion no more to approve the boards, library board.
I'll say it.
No problem. Okay, everybody in favor of approving the board, do so by saying aye. Okay, library board is approved. I think now maybe we can get the, I believe that's it.
After the meeting, after the workshop, maybe I'll ask Randy to see if he can find out anything about the census. And according to what Randy told me, we've gained 35 people in 10 years, now believe that or not. But
We thought we gained that many since the census was taken.
35 people in 10 years.
So, to be honest with you, I'm surprised by it. I thought it was more. I sure would.
Well, you know, it's more. You can't argue with them.
My word, we've,
Jerry thought it was odd.
Would that be affected by the zip code?
I don't know, he
Possibility.
called me, he said he didn't think it sounded right, that that's the numbers that the guy gave him, so.
Well, I believe it was 1850 the last time.
okay, so the only thing left to do tonight is our budget. Okay, so explain that again to us, Pam.
Just to refresh from the workshop last week, what we went over is, why we're doing the amendment is to show, the loan, the revenues that we got in, the governor's state grant, $34,256. The opioid settlement, $64,041, and the American Rescue Plan grant, which we received half, $261,107. And, you all had talked about that we should put it into a different account. We have to keep that separate, especially with, the red flags and the requirements that the state, wants to have regarding the ARPA money. That one's a big project. Also, it shows that we bumped up, a couple line items in state street aid regarding vehicle and equipment maintenance and solid waste, again with, vehicle and equipment maintenance, that's regarding the trash truck, the brush truck, and other equipments that had to be worked on.
I should have asked this question last week, but that money that we're dumping up, is that coming out of fund balance? It's not being moved from line item, a different line item to bump it up, or we just bring it out of fund balance?
The line items specifically that we were talking about last week, we bumped it up, from,
Yeah, it's coming out of that.
It's coming out of fund balance, okay.
also, I'm still working on, that special financial reporting. I've been talking to local government, as well. Larry's, I guess last week, he had told you all that he will have a report definitely for sure in January, but in the meantime, I'm speaking with local government to see if there's any other type of report that I can produce. She's saying because the fiscal year 19 and that 2021 is not closed, because right now we're working on the 1920 audit. That year is closed, but 2021 is still open. We cannot close that until we get the audit preparation done. So that's the next phase, is once 19 and 20 audit is over. We're now currently working on 2021, and I'm already sending documents to Rutherford Moss for the 2021 audit. So I'm working on 2 audits, this budget, the loan, so I'm trying to give you as much information as I can and what I have at this point. Randy, I wanted to ask you, is the report that you get from local government that you were speaking of before, does it have anything to do with statement of expenditures and encumbrances? Or like,
It just,
or like a
Yeah.
statement of revenue?
It just-
or-
again, let's say that I spend money this month, at the end of the month, when the books are closed out at the end of the month, me as a department head, I will get a current listing of where I stand in my budget.
Okay.
If I spent 50% of it, 55% of it, that way I know what I can purchase moving forward.
And that's great to be closed months and being current. As I just said, we're just still, we have a full open fiscal year of 2021, so I can't give you the correct data. But I guess Larry knows something, being the retired city recorder, that he can run a certain report that would help answer the questions, regarding the expenses and revenue.
I just wanna know, when we approve an expenditure as a board, that we're not gonna have to come back in 6 months and throw money at a problem that we created because we didn't know where we stood. That,
But another thing too, at the end of the fiscal year, we always have to do a budget amendment. Well, there'll be some things
budget amendments, and could even be a couple, am I wrong, Joe?
It's quite
Before,
possible.
before the end of the fiscal year. yeah.
Especially in March, that would be another quarter before the end of this fiscal year.
Okay, so we're doing the second final reading on our budget, is that right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, for fiscal year 21-22 right now.
Okay, so we need a motion and a second.
I make the motion.
Motion by Tina.
I second.
Second by Bob. Roll call vote. Sam.
Alderman Bishop,
Aye.
Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Alderman Sandage,
Yes.
Alderman Collier,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jarnigan,
Aye.
Alderman Hoss,
Aye.
All right. So it's done. That is everything on our agenda.
Oh, actually, there was one more regarding, the, Christmas bonuses
Oh, yeah.
for the employees and aldermen, and you had mentioned, Jeffrey Walker, and Mayor, you mentioned, Kevin Johnson,
Yeah,
since
okay,
he's doing
James,
a
now,
yellow picture.
if there's someone else, get with us, so we'll make sure we don't lose anybody else, that we need to put on there.
Alright.
Okay, but anyway, it's to approve the Christmas bonuses for, our employees. Which we talked about, at the workshop, and we took it up, somebody that didn't,
Yeah, 75 to 200.
yeah. So, anyway, we need to vote to approve that.
I make a motion.
Okay, got a motion, Bob?
Second.
Second, Warren. See, roll call again.
Mayor Graham,
Yes.
Alderman Hoss, Alderman Bishop,
Aye.
Alderman Sandage, Vice Mayor Jarnigan,
Aye.
Alderman Collier.
Anything else?
Leaf collection, we're gonna end it January 15th. That gives 30 more days.
On the one?
Leaf collection,
January 15th.
yeah.
Okay, very good.
The minutes were I didn't get the minutes being approved.
I did.
We're not,
When they put that on the radio.
I made a motion.
Okay,
I
I am not, I obviously didn't hear you all.
don't remember who said it.
I don't know who seconded it. I'll go back on the video
That's okay.
and get it.
That's one I was, I made
Okay.
a motion and one of them.
Okay. Sorry. This budget's got me all frazzled.
All right, anything else? Anybody got anything else? Joe, you got anything?
Has Shane said anything out here about thermal imager? Cause one thermal imager the fire department's got, I don't know what he said he was gonna send it, but I don't know what I've seen, I've not seen it, so.
The one
It went bad.
they got out there is so old.
Yeah, it went bad, because when they bought them, they were like $10,000-12,000, but the one he's looking at now is about half that price. And the county gave him an extra 20 last year, so when he brings it in front of us, we need to look on that, because we've got two, but one's done. And where it's in such a pretty decent shape, I think the guys wanted to go to trade it, so he put it in like a museum. So, yeah.
Well, no, I would thought that was part of his equipment.
Yeah, well, that's been, that one thermal imager was bought, I believe, at the same time Kingsport bought theirs, and that's been 12, 14, 15 years ago,
It's
so.
been around 20 years.
Yeah, it's been a while, been here, been a good while. Yeah, probably would have been 1 year, because we had it, that's when I first got there, we got it, yeah. Yeah, it's about 20-year-old.
We have
Price
us,
went down a lot.
we have radar units back in the, probably mid-60s. maybe mid-70s.
Say
Mid-70s.
there's a couple of them still out there.
Are they? Well,
They got little squirrels in it.
yeah.
Gray hair.
Yeah.
I remember stopping someone, but, when we got that, and we stopped him out there for school, the young person, probably 20 years old. And he was so excited because we got him on radar. He said, "You care if I look at that?" And we spent, I guess, an hour him looking at it and explaining it all to him. And I thought that was something, you know, that's having a radar.
You still getting the ticket?
Yep.